Hello, English learners. Welcome back to Daily English Talks. I'm Mia, and today I want to share with you exactly how I learned English, step by step, using simple daily tips that any beginner can use to speak fluently. I'm going to speak to you as if we are sitting together over a cup of tea, having a friendly chat about language learning, and I'll guide you through each moment of my journey so you can take what works for me and use it in your own daily life. We'll also practice together with speaking exercises and small challenges so you don't just listen but also try speaking out loud because fluency comes from doing, not just hearing. When I first started learning English, I didn't have a big plan or expensive materials. I had a simple goal: to be able to talk to people, to understand movies, to read books, and to feel confident. My days were busy, and I didn't have hours to sit in a classroom, so I had to find ways to fit English into my daily life. The first tip I learned was to make English part of the things I already do every day. That meant listening to short conversations while making breakfast, reading small bits of English while waiting for a bus, and repeating sentences to myself when I was walking to work. Here's a small practice for you. Right now, say this sentence after me, slowly. I am learning English every day. Good. Now, say it again, but imagine you are telling a friend with a smile. I am learning English every day. This simple act of saying the same sentence in different tones makes your brain more flexible in using the language. One of the most powerful habits I developed was speaking to myself in English. Yes, it feels strange at first, but think about it. No one else hears you, and you can practice as much as you want without fear. If I was cooking, I would say, I am chopping vegetables. Now I am adding salt. Now I am stirring the pot. It was like narrating my own life in English. This gave me constant exposure and forced me to find words for my daily actions. Let's try it together. Look around you right now. Pick any object near you. Maybe it's a cup. Say this with me. This is my cup. I drink tea from my cup. My cup is on the table. If you can do this for many objects in your home, you'll notice that you remember more vocabulary because you're connecting the words to things you can see and touch. Another important tip is to start with simple, real-life phrases instead of long grammar rules. Grammar is important, but in the beginning, you need to speak. I remember the first phrases I learned were things like, "How are you?" "I'm fine, thank you." And, "Can I have some water?" These were practical, and I could use them right away. That's what made me excited to keep learning. Now, let's do a role play. I'll be a shopkeeper, and you be the customer. I'll say, "Hello, can I help you?" You answer, "Yes, I'm looking for some bread." Good. Now I'll say, "Sure, here it is. Anything else?" You answer, "No, thank you." That's all. See? You just practiced a short, natural conversation you could have in real life. Listening practice was also a big part of my journey. At first, I couldn't understand much. When I watched movies or listened to songs, it felt like people were speaking too fast. But I didn't give up. I chose things I enjoyed. Short TV shows, slow podcasts, and even children's stories. I listened again and again until I could catch familiar words. Then I would repeat them out loud. This is called shadowing, and it's one of the best ways to train your mouth and your ears at the same time. Let's try shadowing right now. I will say a sentence, and you copy me immediately after you hear it. Ready? I like learning English every day. Again, I like learning English every day. Good. This trains your brain to respond quickly without translating in your head. Speaking of translating, I used to make the mistake of thinking in my first language and then trying to translate every sentence into English. That made me slow, and sometimes my sentences sounded strange. So I started training myself to think directly in English. For example, if I saw the sun, I didn't think of the word in my first language. I just said to myself in English, "The sun is shining." You can practice this too. For the next few minutes, look around your room and describe 5 things you see in English. Don't write them down, just say them out loud. Even if you make mistakes, keep going. Your goal is fluency, not perfection. Another daily habit that helped me was reading out loud. I didn't just read silently. I would pick a short paragraph from a book or article and read it with expression, pretending I was telling a story to a friend. This helped me improve my pronunciation and rhythm. You can do this with anything: a news article, a social media post, or even the subtitles of a video. Let's practice with this short text. Today is a beautiful day. The sky is clear and the air is fresh. I feel happy to be outside. Read that out loud with me. Once more, but this time imagine you are really standing outside on a sunny day. One more tip. Don't be afraid to repeat. Repetition is not boring. It's how your brain learns. I used to repeat certain sentences every day for weeks until they became automatic. For example, I would say, I wake up at 7, I brush my teeth, I have breakfast. I said these so many times that they became natural. Here's a mini challenge for you. Say your morning routine out loud in English. Start from when you wake up and end when you leave the house. Use simple sentences like, I wake up, I wash my face, I make coffee. This will train you to speak without thinking too much. I also found that talking to other learners helped a lot. We would meet online or in person and just chat. Sometimes we made mistakes, but we learned from each other. You can find a language partner and agree to speak only in English for 15 minutes every day. Even short practice like this builds your confidence. If you don't have a partner, you can still simulate conversations. For example, pretend you are ordering food in a restaurant. You can say, "Hello, I'd like a chicken sandwich, please." Then imagine the waiter says, "Would you like something to drink?" You answer, "Yes, I'll have a lemonade." This kind of role play keeps your mind active and ready for real-life situations. Before I end this section, let's do one last speaking exercise together. I'll say a sentence and you repeat it with the same feeling. I can speak English. Again, but with more confidence. I can speak English. One more time with a smile. I can speak English. The more you believe it, the more it will become true. When I think about my early days of learning English, I remember how important it was to surround myself with the language as much as possible. I didn't wait for a perfect time or a perfect environment. I brought English into my daily world. For example, I would change the language settings on my phone to English. At first, it felt strange, but it forced me to see and use English words every single time I checked a message or opened an app. This daily exposure made me learn without even realizing it. You can try this too. Change the settings of one device you use often into English. At first, you might feel slow when reading the menus, but soon you will start to recognize common words like settings, notifications, and update. Every time you see these words, you'll remember them more clearly. Another habit that made a huge difference for me was using English when I was alone. If I was cleaning my room, I would think in English. I'm folding my clothes. I'm putting the books on the shelf. If I was walking outside, I would describe the scene. The sky is cloudy. There's a light breeze. People are walking with umbrellas. This is an easy way to make English part of your thinking without adding extra study time. Let's practice that now. Look around your room and describe 3 things you see in full sentences. For example, there is a chair next to the table, the window is open, I can see the street outside. Keep going until you have described everything you can see. One big challenge I faced was feeling shy to speak. I was worried people would laugh at my mistakes or not understand me. But then I realized that even native speakers make mistakes sometimes, and communication is more important than perfection. The more I practiced, the less I cared about making mistakes and the faster I improved. So here's a mindset exercise for you. Repeat after me. It's okay to make mistakes. I am learning. Every mistake helps me grow. Say it again, but slower and with confidence. This will remind you that every time you speak, you are moving closer to fluency. I also started using English in small daily transactions. When I went to a cafe, I would order in English if the staff could understand. When I bought something online, I would write my questions to customer service in English. These little moments built my confidence more than any grammar book could. Let's do a role play. I'll be the barista, and you be the customer. I say, "Hello, what can I get for you today?" You say, "Hi, I'd like a latte, please." I say, "Sure, Would you like it hot or iced? You answer, hot, please. That's it. A short but useful exchange you can use in real life. Listening was another key part of my daily routine. I learned that I didn't have to understand every single word to improve. Instead, I would focus on the main idea. Over time, my brain began to pick up more and more. I liked listening to slow, clear English, and then gradually I moved to faster conversations. Let's do a short listening challenge right now. I will read you a short paragraph, and your job is to listen for the main idea. Yesterday I went to the park. It was sunny and warm. Many families were there, playing games and having picnics. I sat on a bench and enjoyed the fresh air. The main idea is that someone spent a pleasant day at the park. Even if you missed some words, you still understood the general meaning. That's the skill you want to build. Another tip I used was to learn in small chunks. Instead of trying to memorize a long list of words, I focused on phrases I could use right away. For example, instead of just learning the word hungry, I would learn the phrase I'm hungry and I'm really hungry. This way I could use them naturally without thinking too much. Let's try it now. Repeat after me. I'm thirsty. Now add something extra. I'm very thirsty. And one more. I'm so thirsty I could drink a whole bottle of water. By practicing in this way, you expand your sentences naturally. I also learned the value of imitation. I would listen to native speakers, copy their tone, their pauses, and even their facial expressions if I saw them on video. This made my speech sound more natural and less like I was reading from a book. Here's an imitation exercise. I will say the sentence. How's it going? Now, you repeat it with the same rhythm and friendly tone. Again, how's it going? This is a common greeting that will make you sound more natural in casual conversations. Another thing I loved doing was creating little stories in my head. For example, if I saw a man walking his dog, I would imagine a story. This man takes his dog for a walk every morning. The dog loves to chase squirrels. They stop by the cafe for a cup of coffee and a bowl of water. This creative thinking made me use more vocabulary and practice past, present, and future tense without even noticing. Let's try making a story together. Imagine you are at the beach. There are children playing in the sand, someone is flying a kite, and the waves are gently coming to shore. Tell yourself a short story in English about what's happening. You don't need to be perfect. Just keep the words flowing. Daily journaling in English also helped me a lot. I didn't write long essays. Sometimes just 3 or 4 sentences about my day. For example, today was a busy day. I went to the market and bought fresh vegetables. In the evening, I watched a movie with my family. Writing like this every day made it easier for me to remember words and build sentences. Here's a quick writing practice. Think about yesterday and write 3 sentences about what you did. Say them out loud after you write them. This connects your writing and speaking skills. I also practiced asking myself questions in English. This was a way to prepare for conversations. For example, I would ask, "What did I do yesterday?" and answer, "I went shopping." Or I would ask, "What will I do tomorrow?" and answer, "I will meet my friend for lunch. Let's do it now." I'll ask you, "What is your favorite food?" Answer out loud in English. Then ask yourself, "Why do I like it?" And answer that too. This exercise helps you think faster in English. The biggest secret I discovered was consistency. Even 10 minutes a day is better than 2 hours once a week. I made sure English was part of my daily life, no matter how busy I was. Some days I would only listen to one short audio clip and repeat it. Other days I would have longer conversations. But I never skipped a day. Before we end this section, let's finish with a powerful repeat after me practice. Say, "I will practice English every day." Again, "I will practice English every day." Now, one more time, but with energy. "I will practice English every day." When I was learning English, one of the most exciting things was noticing my small improvements. At first, I couldn't speak more than a few words in a row, but then, little by little, I could form full sentences, and later I could have short conversations without thinking too much. These moments felt like small victories, and they gave me the energy to keep going. That's something I want you to remember. Progress in English doesn't happen all at once, but in small, steady steps. One simple habit I developed was to repeat new words and phrases throughout the day. If I learned the phrase, "I'm on my way," I would say it in different situations. For example, when leaving home, I'd say, "I'm on my way to the shop." When heading to a friend's house, I'd say, "I'm on my way to see you." This repetition helped me remember the phrase and use it naturally. Let's try this now. Repeat after me. "I'm on my way." Again, "I'm on my way to the market." One more. "I'm on my way to work." The more you connect the phrase to real-life situations, the easier it becomes to use. I also found it useful to connect English words with pictures in my mind. Instead of translating a word into my native language, I would imagine a scene or an image. For example, for the word rain, I wouldn't think of its translation. I would picture myself standing with an umbrella, hearing the raindrops on the ground. This way, the word rain felt natural in English without needing to go through another language. You can try this right now. Think of the word coffee. Don't translate it. Just imagine the smell, the steam rising from the cup, the warmth in your hands. Now say out loud, "I'm drinking coffee." This type of practice builds direct thinking in English. Music also played a big role in my English learning. I would listen to songs in English, and even if I didn't understand everything, I'd try to sing along. Over time, certain words and expressions stuck in my mind because I had heard them in a fun, emotional context. Here's a fun speaking practice inspired by this. I'll say a sentence like it's part of a song, and you repeat it with the same rhythm. It's a beautiful day. Again, it's a beautiful day. You can even make your own small song with any sentence you're learning. It helps you remember it better. One of the most important lessons I learned was to focus on communication, not perfection. In the beginning, I often felt nervous because I knew I was making grammar mistakes, but I realized that the goal is to make the other person understand you, not to speak like a perfect textbook. Once I accepted this, I started speaking more freely, and the more I spoke, the fewer mistakes I made over time. Here's a confidence exercise for you. Repeat after me. I don't need to be perfect. I just need to be understood. Again, I don't need to be perfect. I just need to be understood. Say it once more with a smile. This mindset will free you to speak more often. I also began using thinking time phrases to help me in conversations. For example, if someone asked me a question and I needed a moment to think, I would say, "That's a good question," or "Let me think," instead of staying silent. This made my speech sound more natural and gave me time to prepare my answer. Let's practice. I'll ask, "What is your favorite movie?" You say, "That's a good question. Let me think. My favorite movie is," and then finish the sentence. This is a simple but powerful trick you can use anytime. Another helpful technique was describing my day in English before going to sleep. I would lie in bed and think, "Today I woke up at 7, I made breakfast, I went to work, I talked to my friend on the phone." It was like replaying my day in English. Let's try it right now. Think about what you did this morning. Say it in English. This morning and continue for 3 or 4 sentences. Don't worry about mistakes. Just let the words flow. When I wanted to improve my pronunciation, I used to record myself speaking. Then I'd listen to the recording and compare it to how native speakers said the same sentences. This helped me notice which sounds I needed to improve. At first, it was uncomfortable to hear my own voice, but it became a powerful learning tool. You can try this today. Record yourself saying, "I am learning English every day." Then listen to it and see if you can make it smoother or more natural. One of my favorite games was to shadow TV characters or video speakers. I'd listen to a sentence, pause, and repeat it exactly like they said it, copying their tone and speed. If you do this every day, your speaking will become much smoother. Let's try a short shadowing exercise now. I'll say, "It's nice to meet you." Repeat it right after me. Again, "It's nice to meet you." Try to match my voice as closely as possible. Another thing I learned was to ask myself small questions in English during the day. Questions like, "What time is it? What am I doing right now? What will I do next?" This kept my brain in English mode without needing extra study time. Let's practice together. Ask yourself, what am I doing right now? Answer, I am listening to English. Now ask, what will I do after this? Answer it in English too. I also noticed that talking about my surroundings was a great way to learn new vocabulary. If I was at the park, I'd describe the trees, the grass, the people, the sounds. This not only improved my vocabulary, but also made my English feel alive and connected to the real world. Let's try it now. Imagine you are in a busy cafe. Describe it out loud. There are many people sitting at tables. I can hear music in the background. The smell of coffee is in the air. Add more details if you can. Another big part of my progress came from practicing small talk. Small talk is those simple, friendly conversations we have with people about the weather, daily life, or common topics. At first, I avoided it because I thought it wasn't real practice, but then I realized it's how most conversations start. Let's practice small talk now. I'll say, "It's a nice day today, isn't it?" You answer, "Yes, it's beautiful outside." Or, "Yes, I really enjoy sunny days." These simple exchanges are great confidence builders. I also found that repeating positive statements to myself helped keep me motivated. Sentences like, "I am getting better every day," or "English is becoming easier for me," gave me the energy to keep going, especially when I felt tired or stuck. Say this with me. I am getting better every day. Again, I am getting better every day. One more time, but with more energy. Before we finish this part, here's a short daily challenge for you. For the rest of today, try to say at least 10 sentences in English to yourself. They can be about anything you see, do, or think. You'll be surprised how much this simple habit can help you. One of the turning points in my English learning journey was when I realized that I didn't have to wait for a teacher or a classroom to start speaking. I could be my own teacher every single day. At first, I thought learning had to be formal with books and lessons. But the truth is that some of my biggest improvements came from simply using English in real situations, even when I was alone. I remember walking through the market one morning, and I challenged myself to name every fruit and vegetable I saw in English. I'd point at an apple and say, "Apple." Then I'd make a sentence. "This apple is red." I'd see bananas and say, "These bananas are ripe." I wasn't speaking to anyone, but I was practicing, and my brain was getting faster at recalling words. Let's try that right now. Look around you and pick 5 things you can see. Say their names in English. Then make a short sentence with each one. For example, chair, this chair is comfortable. Phone, my phone is on the table. Keep going until you've done 5 objects. I also made it a habit to practice describing things I couldn't see by imagining them. For example, I would imagine a beach and say, "The sand is soft, The water is blue. The waves are gentle. This imagination practice expanded my vocabulary because I wasn't limited to only the things in front of me. Here's a little imagination practice for you. Close your eyes and imagine you're in a park. Describe what you see in English. Talk about the trees, the sky, the people. Try to use as many details as possible. Another simple but powerful exercise was to repeat one sentence many times in different ways. For example, I'd take the sentence, "I like coffee," and change it. I like strong coffee. I like coffee in the morning. I like coffee when it's cold outside. This helped me practice adding more detail naturally without having to stop and think too much. Let's do that together. Start with, "I like tea." Now say, "I like tea with milk." Then, "I like tea in the evening." One more. "I like tea when I read a book." This is how you train your brain to build longer sentences. I also learned to listen to myself while speaking. Not to judge, but to notice. Sometimes I realized I was using the same word too many times, so I would try to think of another way to say it. For example, instead of always saying good, I learned to say great, wonderful, or fantastic. This made my English sound richer and more interesting. Here's a quick synonym practice. Repeat after me. Good, great, wonderful, fantastic. Now, use each in a short sentence. This food is good. This food is great. This food is wonderful. This food is fantastic. By practicing this way, you'll have more choices when speaking. Another technique I used was question chaining. This means asking follow-up questions in a conversation to keep it going. If someone said, "I went to the beach," I wouldn't just say, "That's nice." I'd ask, "Which beach did you go to?" Or, "What did you do there?" This made my conversations longer and more interesting. Let's practice. I'll say, "I visited a museum yesterday." You respond with a follow-up question like, "What did you see there?" Or, "Which museum did you visit?" This skill is very useful for making friends and practicing more English in real life. I also enjoyed practicing English in front of a mirror. It might sound strange, but it helped me see my facial expressions and mouth movements. I could check if my pronunciation matched the sounds I was trying to make. And it made me feel more confident because I was practicing speaking as if I were talking to someone. Here's a short mirror exercise you can do. Stand in front of a mirror, smile and say, "Hello, nice to meet you." Then say it again with a bigger smile. Then try it with a friendly tone, as if you're greeting a friend. You'll see how much body language can help your communication. One thing I noticed was that I remembered words better when I used them in a story. If I just memorized the word bicycle, I might forget it. But if I made a little story like, "Yesterday I rode my bicycle to the park and saw children playing," I remembered it longer. Let's create a short story together. I'll start. Yesterday I went to the supermarket. Now you add one sentence, then I'll add, I bought some fresh bread and milk. You add another sentence. Keep going until your story has 4 or 5 sentences. This is a fun way to connect words in your mind. I also practice talking about my plans for the future. This helped me use will and going to naturally. For example, tomorrow I will visit my friend. Next week, I'm going to start a new book. Thinking about future plans gave me a reason to practice every day. Let's try. Say, tomorrow I will, and finish the sentence with something you plan to do. Then say, next week I'm going to, and finish that too. This will help you get comfortable with future tense. A habit that really pushed me forward was repeating conversations from my day in English. If I had a conversation in my native language, I would later think, how would I say that in English? And then I'd try to say it. This gave me real-life phrases to practice. You can do this right now. Think of something you talked about today with someone. Try to say the same thing in English. Even if you don't know every word, do your best to express it. I also practiced using connecting words like and, but, because, and so to make my sentences longer and smoother. Instead of I like tea, I'd say, I like tea because it helps me relax. Or, I like tea but I prefer coffee in the morning. This made my speaking sound more natural. Let's practice. Say, I like walking because, and finish the sentence. Then say, I like walking, but, and finish it again. These little connectors make a big difference in your fluency. Another daily exercise I loved was 3 new sentences. Every day I would think of 3 sentences I had never said before in English. They didn't have to be complicated. For example, my neighbor has a new car. The flowers are blooming in the garden. I need to buy more rice. By doing this, I kept my English fresh and creative. Let's try it now. Think of 3 simple sentences you have never said before in English. Say them out loud. This is a great way to keep growing your language. And finally, I learned that celebrating small progress is just as important as practicing. Every time I understood a new phrase in a movie or spoke without stopping to translate, I would feel proud. This positive feeling made me want to practice more. Say this with me. Every step I take brings me closer to fluency. Again, every step I take brings me closer to fluency. Let that be your reminder every day. One of the things that made my English learning journey more enjoyable was adding variety to my practice. If I only read or only listened, I would get bored, and my progress would slow down. So, I mixed speaking, listening, reading, and writing into my daily routine. Some days I focused more on listening, and other days I spent more time speaking out loud. This variety kept me motivated and exposed me to English in different ways. For example, I remember one morning when I was making breakfast. I played an English podcast in the background, and every time I heard a phrase I understood, I repeated it. It felt like a small victory each time I recognized something. Later that day, I tried to use that same phrase in a sentence while talking to myself. This way, the new language became part of my active vocabulary. Let's try that now. I'll give you a sentence, and you repeat it after me. I'm getting better at English every day. Again, I'm getting better at English every day. Now say it once more, but imagine you are telling a friend proudly. I also learned that using English in emotional moments made it stick in my memory. If something exciting happened, I would describe it in English right away. For example, when I got good news, I'd say, I'm so happy right now. When I was surprised, I'd say, wow, I can't believe it. These emotional connections made the phrases easier to remember. Let's practice with feelings. Repeat after me. I'm so happy right now. I'm really excited about this. I can't believe it. Now think of a time you felt each of those emotions and say the sentence again while imagining that moment. Another useful thing I did was learning conversation starters. These are simple questions or comments that can begin a conversation naturally. I practiced saying things like, "How's your day going?" or "What are you up to?" These are easy ways to start speaking without feeling nervous. Let's do a role play. I'll say, "Hi, how's your day going?" You answer with something short and friendly like, "It's going well, thanks. How about you?" This type of exchange can happen anywhere, in a shop, at work, or with a new friend. I also made a habit of shadowing short clips from movies or shows. I'd listen to a short line, pause, and copy it exactly. The speed, the emotion, the rhythm. Even if I didn't understand every word, I got used to the natural way English is spoken. Over time, I could shadow longer sentences without pausing. Here's a quick shadowing exercise. Repeat after me right away, copying my tone. It's great to see you. Again, it's great to see you. One more time. It's great to see you. I also started practicing mini stories in English. These were just 3 or 4 sentences long. For example, this morning I woke up early. I went for a walk in the park. The air was fresh and I felt relaxed. Telling mini stories helped me remember vocabulary and practice connecting sentences. Let's try this now. Think about something you did yesterday. Say it in 3 sentences in English. Keep it simple, but try to connect the sentences smoothly. One of my favorite practice tricks was to set small challenges for myself. I'd decide that for the next 10 minutes, I would only think in English. Or I'd choose a word like beautiful and try to use it at least 5 times that day. These little challenges kept me active and gave me a clear focus. Let's do a quick challenge. For the next 5 sentences you say today, try to use the word interesting. For example, this book is interesting. I met an interesting person today. That's an interesting idea. This will help you remember the word and use it naturally. I also found it helpful to speak slowly at first. Many learners think speaking fast makes them sound fluent, but real fluency comes from speaking clearly and confidently. When I slowed down, I made fewer mistakes, and people understood me better. Later, as I got more comfortable, my speed increased naturally. Practice this with me. Say slowly and clearly, I am learning English step by step. Again, I am learning English step by step. One more time, but add a small pause after each word to focus on pronunciation. Another technique I used was describing things in more than one way. If I couldn't remember a specific word, I'd explain it using other words I knew. For example, if I forgot the word umbrella, I'd say the thing you use when it rains. This skill kept conversations going even when I forgot a word. Let's practice. Imagine you can't remember word backpack. How would you describe it in English? You could say, it's a bag you carry on your back. This type of thinking helps you stay confident during conversations. I also practice talking to myself in different situations. Sometimes I pretended I was on the phone with a friend. Other times I imagined I was giving directions to a tourist. These imaginary situations prepared me for real conversations. Let's do a quick giving directions practice. I'll say, excuse me, can you tell me how to get to the bus station? You answer, sure, go straight ahead, then turn left. You can add more details if you want. Another important habit was learning to listen actively. That means not just hearing the words, but paying attention to the way they're said, the tone, and the emotion. I'd listen carefully and then try to repeat the same style. This helped me sound more natural and understand people better. Let's try active listening now. I'll say, it's really cold today. Repeat it with the same feeling I used. Again, it's really cold today. Feel how the tone matches the meaning. I also made English part of my thinking when making decisions. For example, if I was choosing what to eat, I'd think, should I have pasta or rice? Or if I was planning my day, I'd think, first, I will go to the store, then I will call my friend. This constant mental practice made English feel more natural. Try it now. Think about what you will do after this lesson. Say your plan out loud in English. Even a short answer like, I will make lunch, is good practice. And finally, I always reminded myself that learning English is not just about studying. It's about living the language. I treated every day as a chance to use English in some way, whether it was speaking, listening, or even just thinking in it. Every small effort added up over time. Say this with me. Every day is a chance to practice. Again, every day is a chance to practice. Let that be your daily reminder. One of the best lessons I learned while studying English was that small, simple actions every day are far more powerful than long, exhausting study sessions once in a while. At first, I thought I needed hours of study to see results, but the truth is, even 10 or 15 minutes of focused practice can make a huge difference if you do it daily. It's like watering a plant. A little bit every day keeps it alive and growing. I remember starting my mornings with a short speaking routine. I'd say good morning to myself in English, then talk about my plans for the day. For example, good morning. Today I will go to work. After work, I will meet my friend for coffee. This short routine helped me start the day in English mode and kept my mind ready for speaking. Let's do that together right now. Say, good morning. Today I will. And then finish the sentence with your own plan. Keep it simple and clear. Another daily habit I loved was reading something small in English each day. Sometimes it was just a short news article, a recipe, or even a social media post. I didn't try to understand every single word. Instead, I focused on the main meaning. If there was a new word, I'd write it down and try to use it in a sentence later. Let's practice with a short sentence. Read this out loud. The sun is shining today. Now make your own sentence using the word shining. For example, the lights are shining in the street. This is how you connect reading to speaking. I also learned that asking and answering questions is one of the fastest ways to improve speaking. I used to prepare a list of common questions like, what do you do in your free time? Or, what's your favorite food? Then I would answer them out loud, even if I was alone. Here's a cue, WIC practice. I'll ask you, what do you do in your free time? Answer in English right now. Now I'll ask, what's your favorite food? Answer that too. Try to give more than just one word. Give a short explanation to make your sentences longer. Another thing that helped me was describing my surroundings using all my senses: sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. If I was sitting in my kitchen, I'd say, I see the table. I smell fresh coffee. I hear the sound of the refrigerator. This type of description makes your English more vivid and natural. Let's do a sensory description together. Close your eyes and imagine you are at the beach. Say, I see, and describe something. Then, I hear, and describe a sound. Then, I feel, and describe a feeling like warm sand or cool water. This is a fun way to practice vocabulary. When I felt tired of studying, I switched to listening practice. I would play short audio clips and try to repeat exactly what I heard. Even if I missed a few words, I focused on copying the rhythm and melody of the speech. This made my speaking more natural. Let's try a short shadowing exercise now. I'll say, "It's a wonderful day today." Repeat it right after me. Again, "It's a wonderful day today." Try to match my tone exactly. I also practiced telling the same story in different tenses. For example, I might say in the past tense, "Yesterday I went to the park." Then in the present tense, "I am going to the park." Then in the future tense, "Tomorrow I will go to the park." This helped me understand how tenses work in real conversation. Let's practice. Say, "Yesterday I ate pizza." Now, "I am eating pizza." And finally, "Tomorrow I will eat pizza." Doing this often will make tense changes feel automatic. Another trick I used was giving myself topic of the day challenges. I would choose one topic, like food or travel, and try to talk about it for a few minutes in English. This kept my speaking practice focused and made it easier to remember related vocabulary. Let's try it now. Your topic is weather. Say 3 sentences about the weather today. For example, "It's sunny and warm. The sky is clear. I like this kind of weather." Simple, but effective. I also loved using time when I was waiting for something to practice quietly in my head. If I was in line at a shop, I'd look at items around me and name them in English. If I was on the bus, I'd describe what I saw outside. These small moments add up over time. Here's a quick example. Look around you right now. Name 3 things you see in English. Then make one short sentence about each. This is how you can turn waiting time into learning time. One big change happened when I started recording my progress. Every month, I would record myself speaking for 1 or 2 minutes about any topic. Later, I would listen to older recordings and notice how my speaking had improved. This motivated me to keep going. You can start this today. Record yourself saying, "My name is, I am learning English. I practice every day." Then keep the recording and listen to it again after a few weeks to see your progress. Another important thing I learned was to not be afraid of repeating lessons. Many learners think they should always learn something new, but reviewing old material is just as important. Every time I repeated a lesson, I noticed something I had missed before. Let's do a quick repetition now. Repeat after me. I am improving my English step by step. Again. I am improving my English step by step. Repetition makes the words part of your long-term memory. I also practiced answering questions in more than one way. For example, if someone asked, "How are you?" I wouldn't always say, "I'm fine." Sometimes I'd say, "I'm doing well," or "I'm great, thanks." This variety made my conversations more interesting. Let's practice. I'll ask, "How are you?" You answer, "I'm fine, thanks." Now answer again, "I'm doing well." And again, "I'm great, thanks." This way, you'll be ready to respond differently each time. Finally, I kept reminding myself that learning English is a journey. There will be days when you feel confident and days when you feel stuck, but both are part of the process. What matters most is showing up every day and doing a little bit. Over time, those small efforts create big results. Say this with me. I am patient with myself. I am making progress every day. Again, I am patient with myself. I am making progress every day. One of the moments I clearly remember in my English learning journey was when I stopped trying to be perfect and started focusing on being understood. At the beginning, I spent so much time worrying about grammar rules and perfect sentence structure that I would sometimes say nothing at all. But once I allowed myself to speak freely, even with mistakes, I started to improve much faster. The truth is, people understand you better when you speak with confidence, even if you make small errors. I began to practice speaking in short, clear sentences. For example, instead of saying something complicated like, "In consideration of the fact that I haven't had lunch yet, I am experiencing hunger," I would simply say, "I'm hungry." Simple, direct language helped me communicate and gave me confidence to keep talking. Let's try that now. I'll say a simple sentence, and you repeat after me. I'm tired. Again. I'm tired. Now make it longer. I'm tired because I didn't sleep well. This is how you build from short to longer sentences naturally. Another habit I developed was talking to myself about what I was doing in real time. If I was cooking, I would say, "I'm cutting vegetables, I'm boiling water, I'm adding salt." This kept my brain active in English and made me more comfortable forming sentences quickly. Try it with me. Think about what you are doing right now and say it in English. It could be something like, "I'm listening to English. I'm sitting on a chair. I'm learning new words." I also practiced telling stories from my life. They didn't have to be long, just a few sentences about something I did. This helped me remember vocabulary and improve my storytelling skills. Here's a quick exercise. Think about what you did yesterday. Say it in 3 sentences. For example, yesterday I went to the supermarket. I bought some bread and milk. I came home and made a sandwich. Keep it simple and clear. Another technique that worked for me was repeating a sentence in different tones and emotions. This trained me to sound more natural. For example, I would say, "It's a beautiful day," in a happy tone, then in a calm tone, then in an excited tone. This made my speaking more expressive. It's practice. Repeat after me with a happy tone. "It's a beautiful day." Now with a calm tone. "It's a beautiful day." Now with excitement. "It's a beautiful day." I also used a lot of repeat after me shadowing. I'd hear a sentence from a video, pause it, and say it exactly the same way. This helped me match my rhythm to natural English speech. Here's one to try. Repeat after me. I can do this. Again, I can do this. And once more, but with confidence in your voice. I can do this. A big part of my practice was learning to describe things in detail. Instead of just saying, "The car is red," I would say, "The car is bright red and has shiny wheels." This expanded my vocabulary and made my English sound more fluent. Let's try. Look at an object near you. Describe it with more detail than usual. For example, this cup is white with a blue handle and a small chip on the edge. I also learned to think in questions. I would ask myself in English, "What am I doing? Why am I doing it? What will I do next?" Then I would answer myself. This helped me prepare for real conversations. Let's practice. Ask yourself, "What am I doing right now?" Answer, "I am practicing English." Now ask, "Why am I doing it?" Answer that too. I liked practicing in small, speaking bursts. Short periods of focused speaking where I would talk without stopping for 30 seconds or 1 minute. I would pick a topic and keep speaking even if I had to use simple words. This trained my brain to think faster. Let's do a short burst now. Your topic is food. Speak for 30 seconds about your favorite food. Describe the taste, the smell, and when you like to eat it. Don't worry if you repeat words. Just keep going. Listening also played a big role. I would listen to the same short audio clip many times until I could understand it completely. Then I would repeat it out loud, copying the pronunciation. Here's a short listening and repeat exercise. I'll say, "I enjoy learning English every day." Repeat it. Again. I enjoy learning English every day. This type of repetition makes sentences stick in your memory. Another trick I used was giving myself a word of the day. I would choose one word, learn its meaning, and try to use it as many times as possible during the day. This kept my vocabulary growing in a natural way. Let's do that now. Your word of the day is comfortable. Say, "This chair is comfortable." I feel comfortable here. These shoes are very comfortable. I also practice changing one sentence into many forms. For example, I like coffee. I don't like coffee. Do you like coffee? This helped me get comfortable with making statements, negatives, and questions. Try it with me. Start with, "I like reading." Now say, "I don't like reading." Now, do you like reading? This is a great way to master sentence patterns. Another thing I learned was to use filler phrases when I needed time to think. Instead of staying silent, I'd say, "Let me see," or "That's interesting." This kept conversations flowing. Let's practice. I'll ask, "What's your favorite city?" You answer by starting with, "Let me see. I think my favorite city is," and then finish the sentence. I also got better at speaking when I practiced describing photos or pictures. I'd look at an image and say what I saw, then imagine a short story about it. This improved my vocabulary and creativity at the same time. Here's one for you. Imagine a picture of a family having a picnic. Say, the family is sitting on a blanket in the park. They are eating sandwiches and laughing. The weather is sunny and warm. Finally, I learned to celebrate small successes every day. If I understood a new phrase in a movie, I would feel proud. If I spoke to someone in English without feeling nervous, I would smile to myself. These moments are proof that you are improving. Say this with me. Every day I am getting better at English. Again, every day I am getting better at English. Let this thought motivate you to keep going. One of the most powerful changes I made in my English learning journey was to focus on using the language I already knew instead of waiting to learn more before speaking. For a long time, I thought I needed a bigger vocabulary before I could have real conversations. But I realized that even with a few hundred words, I could communicate a lot if I used tadan. Well, the key was to stop waiting and start speaking. I started practicing short conversations with myself. For example, if I imagined I was at a shop, I would say, "Hello, can I have a bottle of water, please?" Then I would imagine the shopkeeper replying, "Sure. Anything else?" And I'd answer, "No, that's all, thank you." It was simple, but it trained me to respond quickly. Let's try this now. I'll be the shopkeeper. I say, "Hello, how can I help you today?" You answer in English, asking for something you like. Then imagine me saying, "Of course, here you go." And you finish with, "Thank you very much." I also learned that speaking out loud is much more effective than just thinking silently in English. When you speak out loud, you train your mouth, your tongue, and your voice to produce the sounds of English. This physical practice is just as important as mental practice. Try this with me. Say, "I speak English every day." Again, "I speak English every day." And once more with more energy, "I speak English every day." Feel how your mouth moves. That's your speaking muscles getting stronger. Another technique that helped me was expanding sentences. I would start with something very short and then add more detail step by step. For example, I'm cooking pasta. I'm cooking pasta for dinner. I'm cooking pasta for dinner with my friend. This trained me to speak in longer, more complete sentences without feeling stuck. Let's practice. Start with, "I'm reading." Now, "I'm reading a book." Now, "I'm reading a book in the living room." And finally, "I'm reading a book in the living room on a rainy day." This is how you build fluency naturally. I also practiced changing my sentences from the present to the past or future. This helped me use different tenses automatically. For example, "I'm eating lunch" became "I ate lunch" or "I will eat lunch." Let's try. Say, "I'm watching TV." Now change it to the past. I watch TV. Now to the future. I will watch TV. This small exercise makes tense changes easier when speaking. Another thing I found useful was describing actions in progress. I would watch people around me and say what they were doing. If I saw someone walking their dog, I'd say, "He is walking his dog." If a child was playing, I'd say, "The child is playing with a ball." Here's a quick activity. Look around you or imagine a place. Describe 3 people and what they are doing. Use the present continuous tense like, she is talking on the phone. They are drinking coffee. He is writing in a notebook. I also loved practicing quick answers. These are short, natural responses to common questions. If someone says, "How are you?" you might say, "I'm good, thanks." If they ask, "Are you busy?" you might say, "A little bit, but it's okay." These quick answers make conversations feel smooth. Let's practice. I'll ask, "Are you tired?" You answer, "A little, but I'm okay." I ask, "Do you like pizza?" You answer, "Yes, I love it." These quick, natural replies are easy to remember. Listening and copying native speaker phrases also helped me sound more natural. I paid attention to how they linked words together. For example, instead of "I am going to," they often say "I'm gonna." Instead of "What are you doing?" they might say, "What you doing?" I didn't try to speak fast right away, but I practiced hearing and understanding these natural forms. Here's a little shadowing practice. Repeat after me. I'm gonna go to the store. Again. I'm gonna go to the store. Now slowly. I am going to go to the store. Knowing both helps you understand and choose which to use. I also started practicing with if sentences to imagine situations. For example, if it rains tomorrow, I will stay home. If I have time later, I'll watch a movie. These sentences made my English more flexible and creative. Let's try. Say, if I'm hungry later, I'll make a sandwich. Now make your own sentence starting with if, and finish it with something realistic. I found that practicing short role plays every day was incredibly useful. I'd imagine different places, a cafe, a bus stop, a hotel, and practice conversations I might have there. This prepared me for real-life situations before they happened. Let's do a hotel check-in role play. I say, "Good afternoon. Welcome to our hotel. Do you have a reservation?" You answer, "Yes, I have a reservation under," and say your name. Then I say, "Great. Here's your room key." You finish with, "Thank you very much." I also practiced using connecting words like and, because, so, and but to make my sentences flow better. Instead of "I like tea, I like coffee," I'd say "I like tea and coffee," or "I like tea because it's relaxing." Let's practice. Say, I enjoy reading and watching movies. Now, I enjoy reading because it helps me relax. And, I enjoy reading, but I don't have much time for it. When I wanted to challenge myself, I'd try to explain something simple in as much detail as possible. For example, instead of, I made dinner, I'd say, I made pasta with tomato sauce and cheese for dinner, and it smelled amazing. This helped me add depth to my speaking. Try it now. Think of something you did today. Describe it in one sentence. Now add more details and make it longer. Keep adding until you have at least 3 connected ideas. Finally, I reminded myself daily that progress is not always visible immediately. Some days you might feel like you're not improving, but your brain is still learning and storing information. If you keep practicing, you will notice the results over time. Say this with me. I am improving even when I don't see it. Again, I am improving even when I don't see it. Let this thought keep you motivated on the days when progress feels slow. One thing that really helped me stay consistent in my English learning was making it part of my lifestyle instead of treating it like just a subject to study. When I made English a daily habit, it stopped feeling like homework and started feeling like a natural part of my day. I would listen to English while walking, speak to myself while cooking, and even think in English before falling asleep. The more I surrounded myself with it, the easier it became to use. I started practicing my English in the morning as soon as I woke up. Before checking my phone or starting my day, I would say something simple like, "Good morning, today is going to be a great day." It might sound small, but it set a positive tone for my practice and reminded me to keep using English throughout the day. Let's try that now. Say, "Good morning, today is going to be a great day." Again. Good morning, today is going to be a great day. Now say it with a smile and energy in your voice. Another routine I enjoyed was making daily question time. I would choose one question every day and answer it out loud in English. Sometimes the questions were simple, like, "What did I eat for breakfast?" And sometimes they were deeper, like, "What is something I want to achieve this year?" This kept my speaking fresh and made me think in English about different topics. Let's try. Today's question is, what makes you happy? Answer out loud in 1 or 2 sentences. Don't worry about mistakes. Focus on expressing yourself. I also learned that repeating the same sentence in different ways made me more flexible with my speaking. For example, I like reading could become I enjoy reading, or reading is something I like to do in my free time. This variety made my English sound more natural and less repetitive. Let's practice. Start with, I like traveling. Now, I enjoy traveling. Now, traveling is something I really enjoy. Another great habit I developed was listening to myself speak. I would record short messages like, Today I went for a walk in the park and saw some beautiful flowers, and then listened back to them. This helped me hear where I could improve and also made me notice progress over time. You can try this right now. Record yourself saying, "Today I learned something new in English." Then play it back and see how it sounds. I also started to focus on everyday vocabulary instead of rare or complicated words. Words like busy, hungry, tired, happy, rain, and shopping come up in daily life all the time. So knowing how to use them naturally helped me speak more confidently. Here's a quick vocabulary practice. Repeat after me. I'm busy right now. I'm hungry. I'm feeling tired. I'm happy today. One of my favorite ways to practice was to imagine a short conversation before it happened. If I was going to the market, I would think about what I might say. For example, "Hello, can I have some apples?" "How much are they?" "Thank you very much." When I actually went to the market, I felt more prepared and confident. Let's do a role play. I'll be the fruit seller. I say, "Hello, what would you like?" You answer in English with the fruit or food you want. Then I say, "Sure, here you go." You finish with, "Thank you very much." Another thing that helped me was practicing giving short explanations. For example, if someone asked, "Why are you learning English?" I wouldn't just say "for work." I would say, "I'm learning English because I want to travel and communicate with more people." This gave me more speaking practice and helped others understand me better. Let's try. Answer this question. Why do you want to speak English fluently? Give a short explanation in 1 or 2 sentences. I also used my surroundings as inspiration for speaking practice. If I was sitting in my room, I would describe what I saw. The window is open. The curtains are white. There's a small plant on the table. This helped me build vocabulary connected to my real life. Let's practice. Look around right now and name 3 things you see. Then make 1 short sentence about each. Another small but effective habit I developed was practicing polite language. Saying please, thank you, excuse me, and sorry naturally makes you sound more friendly and polite in English conversations. I made sure to use these words often so they became automatic. Repeat after me. Please pass me the salt. Thank you for your help. Excuse me, can you help me? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. I also enjoyed playing with different sentence structures to keep my speaking interesting. For example, instead of always saying, "I like," at the start, I'd sometimes say, "One thing I like is," or "What I enjoy most is." This variety made me feel more creative when speaking. Let's try. Start with, "I like music." Now, one thing I like is music. Now, what I enjoy most is music. When I wanted to challenge myself, I practiced describing things from memory. I would think of a place I visited and try to explain it in English without looking at pictures. This helped me rely on my vocabulary and not just what I could see. Try it now. Think about your favorite place. Describe it in 3 sentences. Talk about what it looks like, what you can hear there, and why you like it. Finally, I learned that it's important to be patient and kind to yourself while learning. You can't expect to be perfect in one day, but if you keep practicing, you will be surprised at how much you can improve. I told myself every day, I am better than I was yesterday, and that kept me motivated. Say it with me. I am better than I was yesterday. Again, I am better than I was yesterday. One of the most important shifts I made in my English learning was realizing that it's not just about learning more words. It's about using the words you already know in as many ways as possible. In the beginning, I thought I needed to keep memorizing vocabulary lists before I could speak well. But over time, I saw that even a small number of words could express a lot if I practiced using them in different sentences. For example, I could take a simple word like cold and use it in many ways. The water is cold. It's a cold morning. I feel cold. This drink is too cold. By practicing this, I became faster at forming sentences without needing to stop and think. Let's try this now. Repeat after me. The water is cold. It's a cold morning. I feel cold. This drink is too cold. See how one word can work in many situations? I also found that speaking about my real experiences made my learning more memorable. If I learned a new word, I would try to connect it to something in my own life. For example, when I learned the word delicious, I didn't just memorize it. I thought about the last meal I really enjoyed and said, "That pizza was delicious. Let's practice." Think about the last meal you enjoyed. Say one sentence about it in English using the word delicious. Another habit I developed was practicing short responses that sound natural in conversation. Sometimes, in real life, you don't need a long answer. You just need a quick, friendly reply. For example, if someone says, "Thank you," you can say, "You're welcome," or "No problem," or "Any time." Repeat after me. You're welcome. No problem. Anytime. Using different options keeps your replies fresh and friendly. One of the best things I ever did for my English learning was to make it a part of the small, ordinary moments in my day. I stopped waiting for a perfect time to practice and started using every chance I got. If I was walking to the store, I would describe the street in English. If I was cooking, I would talk about the ingredients. If I was cleaning, I would name the things I was moving. These moments might seem small, but they add up to hours of extra practice over time. Let's try that now. Look around you. Name 3 things you see, and then make one short sentence about each. For example, this chair is soft. My phone is on the table. The window is open. I also learned to be curious about new words. If I heard a word I didn't know, I wouldn't just skip it. I would write it down, look it up, and then try to use it in a sentence. The more I used a new word, the faster it became part of my active vocabulary. Let's practice with a new word. The word is neighbor. Repeat after me. My neighbor is very friendly. I have a neighbor who loves gardening. Now make your own sentence using neighbor. Another habit that helped me was asking myself questions about my day. I would say, what did I do today? What was my favorite moment? What could I do better tomorrow? These questions gave me something to talk about and helped me reflect while speaking English. Let's do this together. Ask yourself, what did I do today? Answer out loud in 1 or 2 sentences. Now ask, what will I do tomorrow? Answer that too. I also enjoyed using my phone for quick English practice. I would change my phone's language to English, so I saw words like settings, messages, and calendar every day. I also made my to-do list in English. Small things like buy milk, call mom, clean desk. This constant exposure kept me thinking in English without extra study time. Another big improvement came when I started listening and speaking at the same time. This is called shadowing. I would play a short audio clip, and as I listened, I tried to repeat what I heard immediately. At first, it was difficult, but with practice, my speech became faster and smoother. Let's try a short one. Repeat after me immediately. I'm happy to be here today. Again. I'm happy to be here today. I also worked on making my answers longer in conversation. If someone asked, "Do you like music?" I wouldn't just say yes. I would say, "Yes, I love music. I listen to it every day when I'm cooking or cleaning." This gave me more speaking time and made conversations more interesting. Let's practice. I'll ask, "Do you like sports?" Answer with yes or no, plus at least 1 extra sentence explaining why. Another way I kept my English active was by describing photos or pictures I saw online. I would open a random image and try to say what was happening in it. A woman is reading a book in the park. 2 children are playing with a ball. This helped me practice present continuous sentences naturally. Here's your turn. Imagine a picture of a busy street. Describe at least 2 things you see happening there. I also learned to listen for chunks of language, groups of words that often go together. For example, take a shower, go to bed, make a mistake, have lunch. Learning these as complete phrases made speaking much easier because I didn't have to think about each word separately. Repeat after me. Take a shower. Go to bed. Make a mistake. Have lunch. Now try to make your own sentence with each phrase. When I practiced reading in English, I didn't just read silently. I read out loud. This improved my pronunciation, rhythm, and confidence. Even short passages were enough to make a difference. Let's practice with a short one. Read this out loud. It's a sunny afternoon, and I'm enjoying a cup of tea by the window. I also discovered that talking about my future plans was a great way to practice. I would say things like, "Next week I'm going to visit my cousin," or "Tomorrow I will start a new book." This gave me practice with the future tense and helped me sound more natural. Repeat after me. Tomorrow I will call my friend. Next week I'm going to try a new recipe. Now make your own sentence about something you will do soon. I practiced using comparisons too. Words like bigger, smaller, faster, slower, better, worse. They are useful for everyday conversations and easy to practice. Repeat after me. This bag is bigger than that one. Today is colder than yesterday. Now make your own sentence with faster. One of the most helpful habits I formed was to talk to myself in English during simple activities. If I was washing dishes, I'd say, "I'm washing the dishes now. The water is warm. The plate is clean." These small moments added extra speaking time to my day. Try it now. Think of an activity you do every day and describe it in English in 2 or 3 sentences. Finally, I learned that celebrating progress, even small progress, kept me motivated. I would say to myself, "I spoke 3 sentences today without stopping," or "I understood a whole song verse without reading the lyrics." These small wins reminded me that I was moving forward, even on days when I felt slow. Say this with me. I'm making progress every day, even in small ways. Again, I'm making progress every day, even in small ways. As I reached a more confident level in English, and I realized that the biggest secret was not only practicing every day, but also enjoying the process. When you enjoy your learning, you want to come back to it again and again. I stopped thinking of English as something I had to do and started treating it like something I wanted to do. This change made my practice lighter, more natural, and more fun. I began adding English to the things I already enjoyed. If I liked cooking, I'd watch English cooking videos and repeat the steps out loud. If I liked music, I'd listen to English songs and sing along. If I liked stories, I'd listen to English audiobooks before bed. This way, learning was never boring. It was part of my hobbies. Think about something you enjoy. Now imagine doing it in English. For example, if you love sports, you could watch a match with English commentary. If you love gardening, you could read tips in English. This way, your practice becomes personal and enjoyable. Let's make it real with a quick practice. Say, "I enjoy learning English through," and finish the sentence with something you like doing. Another powerful step I took was finding my English voice. At first, I felt shy and quiet when speaking. My voice was softer and I avoided eye contact, but I learned to use a confident, friendly tone, even when I wasn't sure about every word. This made a big difference in how people responded to me and how I felt about myself. Let's practice that. Say, I can speak English with confidence. Again, but a little louder. I can speak English with confidence. Now say it with a smile and a strong, steady voice. I also learned to control my nerves in conversations. If I felt nervous, I would take a slow breath before speaking and start with something simple. I realized that people are usually patient and happy to hear you try, so there's no need to rush. Try it with me. Take a slow, deep breath. Now say, I'm ready to speak. This small action can help you feel calmer before any conversation. One activity I used almost every day was the daily diary. But I didn't write it, I spoke it. I would spend a few minutes telling myself about my day in English. This morning I woke up early. I made breakfast. I walked to the bus stop. This helped me practice the past tense and get comfortable speaking for longer periods. Let's do a short one together. Think about yesterday. Say 3 sentences about what you did. Keep it simple and clear. I also enjoyed practicing what-if situations. This trained my mind to think creatively in English. For example, what if I could travel anywhere in the world? I would go to Italy. Or, what if I could meet anyone? I would meet my favorite singer. Your turn. Say one what-if sentence now. For example, what if I could learn a new skill? I would, and finish it with your own idea. Another technique I used often was describing feelings and emotions. Instead of just saying I'm happy, I would say, I'm happy because I finished my project today. Or instead of, I'm tired, I'd say, I'm tired because I walked a lot this afternoon. This gave me more speaking practice and helped me connect my sentences. Repeat after me, I'm happy because, and finish with your own reason. Now, I'm tired because, and finish that too. When I wanted to improve my listening and speaking speed, I would listen to short audio clips 3 times. The first time I just listened. The second time I repeated after the speaker. The third time I tried to say the whole sentence from memory. This helped me remember and use sentences more naturally. Let's try a short example. First, listen. I'm learning English step by step. Now repeat after me. I'm learning English step by step. Now say it without listening. I also practiced asking for clarification in English. If I didn't understand something, I would say, could you repeat that please? Or, sorry, what do you mean? This is a very useful skill in real life because it keeps conversations going even when you don't catch everything. Repeat after me. Could you repeat that, please? Sorry, what do you mean? Can you say that again slowly? One of my favorite evening habits was gratitude practice in English. Before bed, I would say 3 things I was thankful for. It could be simple, like, I'm thankful for my family, I'm thankful for my home. I'm thankful for my health. This gave me a positive mindset and extra speaking practice before sleep. Let's do it now. Say 3 things you are thankful for in English. Finally, I learned that English isn't something you finish. It's a skill you keep improving for life. Even now, I still learn new words, new expressions, and better ways to explain my thoughts. That's what makes it exciting. There's always something new to discover. I want you to remember that speaking English fluently is not about knowing every word or having perfect grammar. It's about being able to express yourself, understand others, and feel comfortable in conversation. If you practice every day, even for a short time, you will see results. Let's finish today with a powerful repeat after me. Say, I can speak English. Again, I can speak English. And one more time with full confidence, I can speak English. Now take a moment to feel proud of yourself for completing this long and focused practice. You've spent time listening, speaking, and building real skills that will stay with you as you keep learning. The journey continues tomorrow, but for now, take a deep breath and know that you are making progress every single day.